Time now to say hello to our first guests. Please welcome two brilliant stars of stage and screen, Dame Penelope Wilton and Luke Evans.
Well, it's lovely to have you guys on the show, but Luke, I'm going to start with you first because congratulations, you've got a nomination for an Iris Award for wonderful. Our Son. Now, this is you and your co-star, Billy Porter, celebrating LGBTQ plus talent. I mean, what was that nomination? You know, how does that feel for you?
I mean, it's lovely because it was a really special film to make about a couple going through a very common thing, divorce and custody of a child, but we've never really seen it from that point of view of a gay couple, in contemporary times, and it was really powerful. It was a very moving portrayal of it, and Billy was wonderful, and we shot it in New York last summer, and it's lovely that people have appreciated and like it enough for it to be nominated. It was very nice to be nominated.
The thing is, you're both nominated though. Have you sent him a text and just been like, I'm winning this?
I'm happy for him to win. He's got better clothes than me on the
well, closer to home, you two are now in rehearsals for a brand new play called Backstairs Billy. So you play the Queen Mother, Dame Penelope.
Yes.
Who was Backstairs Billy then?
Backstairs Billy was started working for me when he was 15. I say me.
I love that.
We've become our characters at this point.
You've eased into this, Penelope.
That method acting is unbelievable.
So working for me from when he was 15, and he stayed with me, and he worked his way up the sort of line, started as a footman, and then slowly became head of my whole of my domestic. He came head of the backstairs, which was that he is in charge of the whole thing. He bought the flowers, he arranged the entertainments, he arranged the receptions. He saw that she was fine and what she needed and everything. And so it was a very close relationship. And he stayed with her until she died. So it's 45 years she worked for him.
It's a long service, isn't it? And Billy was openly gay, but of course being gay then could land you in jail, couldn't it? And the Queen Mother, fully supportive though, wasn't she?
Yeah, I mean, the story, we meet them in 1979 when things were changing a lot in the United Kingdom, but he's 44 at the point, which is actually my age. I was born in 1979, and he would have experienced the 50s, the 60s, where, being a gay man in the United Kingdom was illegal, and so life was very different. And when he worked, when he existed, his whole life was most of his life he spent within Clarence House with the Queen Mother, and she was very accepting of him and many other servants and butlers that were gay.
Quite a lot of them were gay, but she had a number of gay friends. Noel Coward was a great friend of hers, who was not openly gay to begin with, but then became, and didn't become. I don't think he was given his knighthood until quite late on, because of the reason being that he was gay.
Of course.
So, but all that changed. In her life, she was a very, she had no worries about anything like that.
No.
She was a very open person. In fact, she was an amazing woman. Hitler called her the most dangerous woman in Europe during the war, because she stayed in London. And she was a very witty woman, and we're trying to change the Queen Mother from being in soft chiffon into being something a bit more technicolor, and show her side, which was much sharper.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite incredible. And there was a huge fascination from the press around that relationship as well, the tabloids at the time. Was there anything that you learnt from it, that you took from it, and you were like, oh, I didn't realise this?
Well, I wasn't aware of Billy and until I got this play. So I wasn't aware of that side of... and then I read a number of books about the Queen Mother and got to know about the relationship, which was a very close relationship. But they never crossed the line, did they?
No. As close as they were, and as unique as the relationship was, being the page of the backstairs, he had keys to every single door, passage in Clarence House. He always knew that there was a step that he couldn't take. Very unusual. Like, it's not anything we would ever see. Like, we're not used to seeing this kind of environment, this dynamic, you know. This is of a different time. And so it's very interesting to observe it and to be part of it and play this very complex but reliant. They were very reliant. They leaned on each other. They had this very similar sense of humour. He knew how to make her happy better than anybody else, and she knew that.
Yeah, I think everybody needs a Billy.
Yeah,
we all need a Billy.
Brings flowers, makes sure everything's
especially
nice and
when
clean,
the Billy
pours the
looks
gin.
like looks like Lou.
Well, 100%. I'm with you, Dave.
If you have a Billy like Lou,
It's a big plus.
you're extremely
big plus.
lucky. In fact, I'm thinking of taking him home.
Well, I have said that, you know, we have tea breaks,
home, actually.
and you know, I start helping Penelope to make her tea, opening the biscuits for her, getting you a tea bag. I'm like, this is becoming real life.
Yes, and I take it just like that.
And you say as well that meeting the late Queen and Prince William, it did inform you, didn't it, when it came to creating the character?
Well, very much so, because when you meet royalty and when you meet senior members of the royal family, there's a way of behaving that you're told about, and actually Billy does in the play. I mean, there's and he also says in the play, you think it's going to be fine, and then actually when you meet them, it's quite, you
fall
don't,
apart, don't you?
Yeah, you talk all sorts of ridiculous stuff.
You forget to
and,
curtsy, you forget all sorts of things. But they're extremely good at what they do. And they never leave you. You notice when the Queen goes down the line, or the Queen Mother went down the line, they never leave a person thinking, oh dear, she's had enough of me. Or they sort of are able to leave someone and move on without sort of being difficult about it.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting.
Well, you're both obviously enjoying this play a lot. You can tell, can't you, the way you talk about it. Backstairs Billy is on at the Duke of York's Theatre from the 27th of October. Thank you both.
And can I just say one thing, is that Michael Grandage Company, they have a lot of, 20% of their seats are for £10.
That's brilliant.
Because the theatre is very expensive.
Yeah.
And so 20% seats, 20% are £10 for younger people to come to the theatre.
Oh, how
That's
lovely.
incredible.
How lovely.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Are you young people? Would you class yourself as young people?
I didn't want to say anything.
I'm just checking.
I didn't want to say anything. Sorry.
You're my Billy.
Good luck with that, Ronan.
I do have to make the tea. Fine. I'll take that. I'll take it.
Now, you will recognise one of our next guests, James Nesbitt, because of course you were in The Hobbit with him,
Yes, we
weren't you?
spent almost a year together in New Zealand, actually. So, fond memories.
Well, there you go. But tonight, we're not talking movies with James Nesbitt. He's in France, where the Rugby World Cup is in full swing with his friend and former Scottish rugby player, Kenny Logan. Gentlemen, hello.
And good luck.
Luke played my daughter's daddy in The Hobbit.
I did, yeah.
They adore him and they miss him.
They preferred me.
The only country we haven't mentioned, of course, is the potential champions.
I'm amazed that they haven't
what
mentioned
they're all
Wales.
talking about. I mean, Wales have got this in the bag. Luke, give them that. Come on.
Wow. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Take
much.
care.
Good luck. Bye.
Ta-da.
Time now to welcome our next guest. She's well known for taking on some huge challenges for charity. Kayaking across the Amazon, tightrope walking across Battersea Power Station. There's nothing she's afraid of. Please welcome Helen Skelton. You know, I remember watching you on that tightrope on Battersea Power Station. I was so in awe of you. It was the scariest thing I've ever seen. But the person that trained you was a little bit disappointed. Now, would you like to share with the group?
Well, I feel like you're going to go and lynch him. You're like, what? How was
yes,
he
because I was crossed when I heard this.
Well, he was happy that I didn't fall off. But I think because you've done challenges, when you take on these adventures for telly, you want to respect it because he's been learning it for years and years and years. But we had a couple of months. So he taught me to salute and to sit down. And so when I got off the wire, he was like, why didn't you salute and sit down? I was like, mate, I just wanted to get off there. Like,
look
job
at this,
done.
Penelope. Look at Helen.
Well, I mean,
unbelievable.
Too much.
It was so lovely, but a group of children came to cheer and they were all going, Helen, Helen. You know, in the moment, you're like, please, kids, shut up. I've got too much going on here.
Well, look, you write about these challenges and kind of why you do them to remind yourself, of how to cope with everything else. You write about it, obviously, in your new book. And one of the things that I still can't get over is kayaking the entire length of the Amazon. Now, I'm just going to read this, right? 16 hours a day for 42 days. I mean, at what point do you go, this is too extreme?
I mean, when I got there, because I'll be honest, I think ignorance is bliss. And I think if you overthink it, you don't do it. And I sort of nagged my boss and I was like, let's do it, let's go. And he said, why don't you go and pedalo a bit of it? And I said, why would I do a bit of it? Let's do it all. Admittedly, I didn't realise how big it was when I said that.
Yeah.
3 countries, whole continent. And so we sort of got there, divided up the distance by the time I had, and I thought, just get on with it. But I think if you overthink it, you don't do it.
See, I think that was off the charts, but the worst one was the cycling across the South Pole. Because it looked... Well, it looked so lonely.
Exhausted.
I need a TV, don't I? I need what to do. No, it was... That was a really challenging environment because it was cold, it was windy, and I'm like you, I'm a talker. I like to chat. And they had it in their heads that they didn't really want me to get much support from the crew, because obviously proper adventurers do it on their own. But I used to lean on the crew and you have a bit of banter, don't you? But they didn't really want me to lean on the crew, so they used to make the crew eat separately, and they had bacon. Now, trust me,
not fair, is it?
When you've been on that ice for 52 days on rehydrated porridge, I was jealous.
Were you not allowed bacon?
No, I wasn't allowed. I had to take everything that I wanted on my sledge.
Oh, my God.
I see.
So,
Did the bike slip?
Oh, yeah, it was awful. Yeah, people don't do it for a reason. But we biked the last bit in.
Wow.
And so we had to have the tyres really
Like with
flat.
spikes in them and stuff?
No, just like big fat tyres.
Oh,
We
right.
had them
Big
really
boys,
deflated.
yeah.
You know, the thing about... You've done all of these challenges, but the thing you write about in the book is that Strictly was probably up there with the hardest one. It came at a difficult time in your life. And you were... I mean, that was the one you were most scared of, really, wasn't it? But... You know, we'll take you back to Movie Week, which was a lovely one, Viennese Waltz. What was going through your mind? We've got some footage, and you looked so beautiful.
Oh, God, you cringe watching any of it.
Don't cringe, it's lovely.
We were just talking about it, and I said, fear's all relative, isn't it? You know, I like jumping out of planes and did SAS and all that. But for me, getting on that dance floor, I think that was the 2nd or 3rd week. First week I hid on the fire escape, because if it's not your thing, I was absolutely terrified that week. And they made me pretend I was looking at a photo, and I was just like, oh, can't we just dance? And he was like, no, pretend you're looking at a photo and be all dreamy. And that was the work. That was much. Get me back on the high wire before doing that.
It feels like your heart's going to stop, doesn't it, when you're waiting to start dancing? Horrendous.
Oh, no, thanks.
Helen, you are an absolute warrior. We love you. In My Stride is out next Thursday.
And iPlayer. Thank you so much to all of our guests tonight, Penelope, Luke, Helen, Kenny and James.
JJ and I will be back on Monday with Paddy McGuinness, Fiona Bruce and Philip Mould. Have a lovely weekend. Goodbye.